reflection from the beginning to the end. It's not going to be fancy, but I'll color it, I'll put a border on it, I'll title it, I'll do the whole deal. So I'm going to insert a rectangle. So I'll do a hexagon second. So basically I'm going to start with a rectangle. I don't have to worry too much about the size, because I can adjust that later. I'm going to take the fill out, and I'm going to take the outline to thin, because I can be more accurate. Then I'm just going to move it here, and I'm going to zoom in, because it's easier to work. I am recording.
Oh, we're out.
So here's my rectangle. That's too big.
You can just zoom in the bottom right.
Oh, good idea. I should have down here. Good idea. Okay, so I'm going to do a tool, the curve tool. And when you do a glide reflection, like most of these, you want to start at the corner. You don't have to, so I'll do, but you, it's a good habit when you're practicing. So click there. And then I don't actually hold the mouse down for the curve tool. I've removed my hand and I'm just moving it. And then I'm going to click somewhere. And now I'm going to pull it. And so every time I click, it's a turning point. Okay, so maybe, you know, oops, I double clicked and it went out. So I have to do it again, or I can maybe shrink it. So I'm gonna take the thinness of that, and it should be thin. Okay, so now I'm gonna glide it down. So I copy it, and you could do that by just holding the control key down and click and drag. And if I just paste it in there, I can use the, oh, I didn't know that. So I can arrow in to get it just right. That would be a translation, but I want it to be a glide reflection. So I pulled it down vertically, so I'm gonna flip it horizontally. And then that's gonna be my shape so far. Okay, so now I'll go back to insert, and just to practice with a different shape, I can pick that tool. Also, yeah, it's the, I don't know what it was called. Is that, yeah, so I'm going to start on the corner there. If I hold shift down, I go right on the line here. So you can go on the line, even if you don't want, say you don't really want to start on the corner, you can start on the corner and just trace the line. And then, you know, maybe you come in or something and do whatever. And, you know, maybe you just want to do something like that. I know.
I know, I always thought it was me. I thought it was me.
So I'm going to double click and make that thin. And then I'm going to just translate it. So I could just do a simple translation like that. Yeah, kind of like a fish, right?
Oh, it looks like an angelfish.
It looks like an angelfish that is like, it's got its head cut off, and then a smaller angelfish's head.
Or like a Japanese, like one of the Japanese cartoon people.
Okay, the manga. I'm going to do a save as. And so I'm going to go to, you know, my private folder, and I'll just save it in my tessellation folder.
Wow, there's a lot of tests.
There's other kids' tessellations there, and I'll just call it
Tessellation 5000.
my glide reflection fish shape.
With rectangle.
Well, that's why I just call it shape. Now I'm going to delete the rectangle,
I save as after that.
and I do a save as right now, and I just do my glide reflection fish. Okay, so I have two different things,
Alright.
because, does that make sense? And now I'm going to group the pieces,
Then turn them left.
and I have this shift key on. Well, yeah, it's a little fussy. That's why if you just go up to format, you could go to group.
How many people have done Star?
No, not once you go to format. Right. You don't want to rotate this before you piece it together when it's a glide reflection, but you could piece a row together and rotate the row later. So, so you guys, we could make this a fish, and you could do some of the decorating, like putting in an eye or something here. And then you don't like where I've located the eye?
No, I do not. I find it very foolish and
Wow. Okay. So maybe you might want an eyeball.
Maybe one too. Oh. I see what you're doing there. I see what you're doing to make a little loophole.
I'm making, yeah, so maybe I'll just fill that in and put it in. So, you can,
Always looking down. Always looking down.
I'm sorry. Would you like to be looking up and backwards maybe?
It's got a nose.
you give it a tattoo.
Fish. Yeah, can we get a sailor anchor?
Is that more up to your liking?
I love the name.
No, you should be more surprised.
Like I can really get.
Okay, so there's my fish. And maybe that's all I feel like doing because you guys are so critical. So I'm going to group this. Okay, so I've grouped it. And then I'm going to just make it a little smaller because if it's too big, it doesn't really have a nice effect. So I'm going to copy this. So we listening, guys? Copy. And then I'm going to go to MS Paint. So I can just type. I have MS Paint. You would have to type in MS Paint. Microsoft.
So you can for tessellations you can so that's like the next step the second to most simplest way like tessellation.
It's a simple one.
And we have to do 3 different tessellation types, right?
Right.
But 2 of them are only like just like that.
Right.
Nothing else, and then one is
Right. One's colored. So I'm doing like a formal. Okay. I pasted it. And so I'm going to just make this bigger so I could look at it better. Okay, and then you can do different things, right? I mean, you can make fins, right?
we should make it on Word, then how are we going to be able
Huh,
to work on
why didn't that work?
Because like Word,
You can just
email
send it, email it.
email it to yourself.
Yeah, they used to have that thing where you could access all your documents at home.
This is
Do
why
they still have that?
Easy access, whatever.
Okay, so you could do something like that, but it's like way thick, so I'm going to undo it.
Well,
But you could take this align tool and do some decorating.
The curve tool is a lot different on here.
Yeah, the curve tool's way different on here. It's weird. So anyway,
That fin is not worthless.
you don't like my fin there?
It's also like really chubby.
what is that? That looks like cute.
All right. So
Way too big.
I'm wondering if I could make the size different. I can't, huh?
Just make it like
I'm pretty sure that
like
I
You
right,
know what that
I
is?
right
Oh,
clicking the
resize,
line.
resize.
You know what that is? A bunch of garbage.
I don't think so. Well, let me do thinness.
like it's older.
Yeah.
And you get a tattoo.
Okay.
Right clicking up there, right clicking like the curve thing.
I don't know.
No,
This one?
yeah.
When I get older, I'm gonna
Okay.
do that.
So anyway, you guys, this is just for demonstration purposes. So I could do, different things, right? I can put little,
Is it child abuse if you let your child get a tattoo? No.
Nah, I have a therapist that
I'm gonna stop. Do you want to do this or not?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, then stay on task. Okay, so you can do any kind of little curve stuff. You have to just sort of play with it and then realize like what it does. So, obviously I need a little skill work on my curves. But I'm just
Oh yeah. Weird thing.
does weird things. So you just have to kind of play with it and see if it does what you want. That being said, that's not really the point of this exercise. I'm gonna take a paint bucket and make this
What color are angelfishes?
blue.
Make it purple.
So I'll make it blue. And, of course you can do whatever kind of decorations you want on this. But at that point, when it's all finished, you're going to select it. Okay? And then you copy it. So I'm copying it. Then you're going to go back to your Word document. And you don't need this anymore. You're going to paste the painted one. Now, I can't move it yet because I have to go to format and I have to wrap text and make it behind. That allows me to move this, but there's this white box around it, so I also have to remove the background. So I'm going to mark the areas that I don't want. So I have to take the box and make sure it's outside of my fish. So it's not cutting anything off. And then I'm going to click on the purple space I don't want. So it's going to delete everything between the fish and the rectangle. And so now I have,
Where did you put it on the rectangle?
but one thing that I should have done that I didn't show anybody yet, if I go to that other document, like if I undo, let me just undo for a minute. Before I do all that, if I just watch. One thing that makes it a really good idea to make this cleaned up is I should keep this. And then I'm going to paste. And I'll show you why. And I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to wrap text behind. And then I'm going to remove the background. Because
And you can see that they can pop it.
if you don't, Kenneth, it keeps a box around the fish and you can't paste it together. I'll do it. I'll show you on the next one how that. Right. If you use paint.
If you save it as like a here and here, you might not do that. It's like the different formats.
But what I want to show you is if I paste this on top, it makes the background the edges nice. And it makes a cleaner, oh yeah, a cleaner outline, and it makes a better design in the end. So see how the outline's kind of not great. So if I have an overlay right now, and if I make that shape outline maybe black or some color that, orange-ish. How about green? Okay, so if I make it, and I make it thick, it's going to make this look a little better when I piece it together. Yeah, so then I might change my mind on next time putting that eye in. You know what I mean? Or I might ungroup it first
I like it like that.
because I don't need everything, right? And get rid of the eye. Because the eye's already on the... Oh, that's a good idea. I like that too.
If you like a tessellation, it's like a puzzle piece, that'd be awesome.
So there's a lot of choices, but we're going to just go with the big eye for, simplicity. And those are decisions, right? You can decide on your final project. Then you group that with the blue one. And so you've got one clean fish here. And then we can do that again, and we'll use Benji's idea. So now I'm going to go back to paint and change the fish color. So I'm going to pick up a different bucket of paint. And
Okay, and it's like,
you don't like that?
Oh
give
no.
it stripes and it'll be okay. Go with the,
Then you could put stripes in and all that kind of stuff.
I
Yeah,
think we need
I'm gonna let you guys do the decorating. So I'm gonna select it again, and I copy it, and I go back to Word, and I'm gonna paste it. So Kenneth, if I don't do, first of all, I have to format it and text wrap and go behind text. If I don't remove the background, that rectangle, like, it, it just doesn't work.
Okay, so it didn't happen when I did it, that's because I didn't put it in paint.
Yes, only if you put it in paint. So it looks okay, but I can't move this guy around as well as I can move the other one. So then you just do the remove background. And yeah, how would you do it?
I still don't understand why you do that. Go back to
Because if there was a layer underneath it, then you can see it.
So it just shows the rectangle. Let's do that in a minute. But let's do your first idea. So Benji's idea where the I got big, I could just ungroup this for a minute and get rid of on the eye, right? For a minute, take it out, and then I can make this thick like I did before. I don't remember the weight I used. I guess that one, no. Yeah. And then put it on the fish. And then I can do the Control V that he's talking about and bring that eye in so where it's nice but not as like thick. And I could make it a little thicker if I wanted to, but I don't have to go as thick. Yeah, maybe like one. So it looks a little better. Good solution. Good idea. So then you group all your pieces again. So I have 4 things to group here because I have the pieces of the eyes and the colored fish and the outline. So what happened there was the outline went to the back. So I'm going to select the outline and send it to the front. But I have to figure out which one I have. Okay. So I'm going to keep that outline. There's little things that happen. Bring forward, bring to front. So when I group it, it should stay in the front. And those are just things I learned along the way. Now I can piece together, and I use the arrow key to place them in there. So again,
Oh, yep.
Now we don't like the fish.
I think I have 2 different thicknesses, don't I?
Yeah, you do.
But that's okay.
Yeah, so you don't probably want that for when you finish product, but if you look at this from one page, it's still a good size. So I can take 2 of these and group them and then make a row and get them in place. So, and then do it again and go right off the page. Oops, I forgot to copy it. So now I've got a group. And then I'm going to push it off the page. So I probably want one more. Because if I want to go diagonal,
Are you gonna go down?
I might want to change. I just like to have a nice long row. So even though that's really long, it doesn't really matter. Right? So I'm going to group that. Oops.
You should make it like a checkerboard for the colors.
So then I can bring it down, and I have to do a glide reflection, so I have to flip horizontal.
Yeah. Yeah.
and you could put those in. And so you could decide if you wanted checkerboard or whatever.
Whoa, whoa, look at that, that's sweet.
And then you group them. Once you group them here,
You could sell that for fun.
yeah, exactly. Now you don't have to do any flipping because now it's like a tessellation, regular, oops. So you could just put it in.
It looks better than modern art.
And I should zoom in once in a while because I don't know how accurate I'm being.
Sell that
I know.
and make money.
I know you could like be like fancy.
So it looks pretty good accuracy wise. Then you could group, so if you go back to that one page, you could group both of these. And then, right, and then if you want it,
Should move it up a little bit because it's my space.
Whoa.
right, I can deal with that in a minute. So I'm gonna just put this in here.
I really hope mine
Like
is
this
good.
evil bunnies.
I hit the arrow too many times. It's just going by itself. Okay, so one more.
Just align it with the already. The ones that are already. Alright, you do that bit.
Oh yeah, the overlapping, I have to say, it doesn't always work out so well. So I've grouped, I just selected everything, I think. So I grouped it. Now I can move the whole thing up. I think I,
Well, well,
You have to stop. What?
don't worry about
There
it.
is a-
Do we
See,
get
that's what happens for me.
did I ungroup by accident?
Yeah,
Undo.
no, see, that's what it does when I do stuff like that.
You're right.
Except for it puts them into smaller parts, like it goes back to like way before.
It doesn't matter because I'm going to put a border on. Also, you guys, after you get a row, if you have wanted it to be rotated, after you get a whole row, I don't know. Oops. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. What are you trying to do?
You guys are so critical. Okay, so now I'm going to put a border on it. Okay, but before I do the border, I probably want to just do a good look and see if there's any big errors. So like down here, there's a little bit of an error.
Quit slamming your lockers.
And I can do better. Do you see how I'm kind of cleaning that up? And, you know, if I spent a little more time, I would have done that each time because I have a little bit of error here and there. But for today's purposes, that's the goal. So then I'm going to, that's okay. I'm going to insert, this would be a good time to save, right? And then I'm going to insert a shape. My shape's going to be a rectangle. I want my rectangle border to be have no fill, but I want it to be really, really thick. So my weight I can make like 80, 70 or 80.
Sometimes that's a little.
Let's do 75.
Okay, 75. So then that didn't work. I had something selected. So let's try again. I'll make the rectangle first.
That's usually.
So I'm just going to make a rectangle that's full. And really, if you go like this, the printer doesn't print the edge. So I always like stop where that cross sort of makes a right angle with the corner, just to make it uniform. Then I'm going to do no fill. And then I'll make the outline like we said, 75.
It only goes up to 15 something. 15 and more.
Okay, and then I might change the color if I want to. You know, so shape outline,
No, we need to go with bright red is what we need to go with.
you know, more outline colors. You could do whatever, right? How about purple? Okay, so purple. And then I'm going to add a text box. So when you add a text box, you guys, draw your own. And at first it's going to look kind of clumsy here. So I'm going to just draw a text box. I'll fix it in a minute. And then I'm going to do no fill because I don't want to interrupt the border. And I'm going to do no outline. And
It's invisible.
and then my typing, I can pick a color,
White, probably.
like white, sure.
Especially on some dark color.
And then I might, so then I would just call this, what did you call my fish?
Fishy frenzy.
Angelfish.
Angelfish.
Angelfish frenzy.
Evil bunny
They're
rabbit.
kind of small.
I know, but I can adjust it. Angelfish, and then I'm going to say glide reflection on a rectangle. And I'll do that on the bottom. So first of all, did you notice that there's like the spacing? You don't want paragraphs spacing. And then you do want the font to be bigger and centered.
And nice fun font that makes us want to dance.
Okay, well, I'll let you guys do that. So then you want it centered, right?
Yeah. Let's put fancy on.
So you want to give it a title. You want to say what your transformation is. So on the rubric it says what's the transformation. That means it's a glide reflection. You might want to make that bold.
Make it italic bold and then change it to Times New Roman.
That's the most boring font
And
ever.
century
I
Gothic.
love it.
Okay.
And
Oh, we should do it on webpage.
So I'm going to make it bold.
That's what I like to say.
so
Webpage.
I was going to say into the most annoying.
Algerian.
Comment.
Comic sans.
No, do
God. Wait, no.
do the one
Comics.
that's
No,
just
no, no.
Chiller. Chiller.
Cooper Black.
Just
Cooper Black.
Okay, there it is.
That's shaped.
So, but that doesn't look good bold. Okay, so then you notice, you guys,
Rectangle got cut.
exactly, as I change the font, I've got to then adjust my rectangle. And then arrow it over to center it. Okay, then you're going to copy this box down here and put your name in it.
Except for we gotta.
You know, that's one way. Some people have done the boxes on the vertical side of the,
That's weird.
That's not my jam.
so, wow, you guys are critical. Okay,
I don't
so-
do that. It's stupid.
then you just
I can't.
center that, and then you're going to save it,
Yeah, saving.
and then I can tomorrow,
Yeah,
because I'm going to stop this.